All right. I don't know why I got the smooth jazz voice on, but that's just how I feel right now. Uh, it's a nice day out because I'm looking out the window for the most part. So I'm gonna say forgive me ahead of time if you hear people knocking and doing any type of let's say work outside. Just because the area I am, I'm a long way from LA. I'll just say that because the area I'm in is very much so. How do you say it? I'm a suburban boy. Now I'm officially a suburban boy. I could just say that. But it's been that way for the past couple of years now, so I'm truly am blessed. Could use some more money. If anybody knows me personally, you know the whole spiel that I give. Uh, I could use a Hellcat, a Steam Deck, some money, and one particular woman. Life would be pretty much good, but I could say life is life is all right now, you know. But who gets to say if life is bad or good? Like you really got to be just in it. I won't get too spiritual with it, but I've seen homeless people laugh and be in love. I knew love was real. Is this the 808 in podcast episode? But no, I knew love was real when I saw an interracial couple, and it wasn't just any interracial couple. It was a white dude and a black woman that were homeless, and I never. That was years ago. I can't even remember what year it was, but that was so far ago that I remember that happening. It might have been a real sign of love. Oh. But what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. That TikTok is stuck in my head, but that's one of my favorite songs ever, legit as a jit. So I'm remembering it. But once again, new episode. I should just make this partner Banks. Yeah, this should be partner Banks. If it was Banks versus Davis, I'll just put it there. But we just make a partner Banks. I don't even know what number it is. I feel like at this point, I might be at 30. I always mess up the numbers, but regardless, we're here. Thank you for everybody that's been tuning in. Everybody that, if you just hear me banter by myself, just thank you for being here. Davis is living life. I'll just say that. Anybody, let me be clear about this. All right, this is shoot promo. Anybody that's doing anything other than podcasting, just do that. Boy, I had a personal conversation with two of my close friends uh, who are subscribers to the podcast, definitely one. And I was just explaining to them how hard podcasting is. Dude, this is the hardest form of entertainment I've ever done. All right. And this is coming from a dude who's tried to train to be a pro wrestler who will probably get back into it. It's a lot of stuff I wish I would have consistently did. I probably wouldn't be in this situation I am right now where I'm trying to get back into everything and now I'm older and my body is like, fuck, dude. Can we cuss? How many minutes are we in? Oh, it's not even monetized. Anyway, fuck it. Uh, I just think about how consistency is a real thing, and probably that's why I'm so tough on myself when it comes to every single thing in life, let alone podcasting. I can't hold y'all. This is the hardest shit in the world to do is podcasting. Again, I've done acting. I've done pretty good at it. That's why I'm about to get back into it. I've done the pro wrestling. That's hard. But dude, fucking talking for 45 minutes to 3 hours is extremely hard, especially for somebody like me that just likes to stay quiet 98% of the time in life. And then when I say something, it's just to cause chaos or, just my opinions that people hate and I don't give a fuck. Uh, it's just this form of entertainment is the hardest thing ever. So anybody that's listening, if you think about getting into podcasting, don't. I'm telling you, save your money, save your time. I hate to be like that. It's just like everything else in life. Like you hear people talk about it, and I'll talk about that craft probably later on after movies or one specific company that does movies. But I'll just talk about podcasting. Unless you really, really, really want to do this, I wouldn't advise it, dude. This shit is hard. Like it's literally I have to come up with stuff on the fly that I think would be interesting, especially now because even though it's not the sports, but well, it is for the most part. It's been sports. When I started this last year, when Davis took his first vacation. I need to take a vacation. In the words of Michael Jordan, everybody keeps advising me to take a vacation. If anybody need a fucking vacation, I need a vacation. I definitely need to take a break from podcasting and just stuff in general. Like, bro, I just need to be sitting somewhere, preferably under a female. Just let me. I just need a female to rub my head. This might be the 808 in the podcast. I just need a female to rub my head and just, caress me. We all need love, man. I just told that story. We all need love. I need somebody just to hold me, goddamn. But it is what it is, man. I'll be all right, as the Florida people say, I guess. For how long? Something depressing. I wanted to bring this up, but no. Anybody that's trying to get into podcasting, hey man, good luck to you. This shit is hard. Like, I'm kind of scraping the bowl. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm just doing this episode on the whim of, fuck it, let me just work. Why not? That's all I do is just work. So I envy people. I envy people that take a break. I envy people that be like, you know what, I got something else to do. Just envy people. Like, I was having a conversation with another guy, another one of my friends, about, I envy the people I grew up with that just don't do anything in life. Like, I got friends from back home, not to bury them to a certain extent, that just live with their moms, their aunts, their grandmothers, no job, nothing. They just talk all day, just have fun all day. It's like, dude, I envy y'all. The main reason why I probably don't talk as much as people would like me to, because it seems like a lot of times people want me to talk, like respond. I don't have nothing to say. But more times than not, the reason why I just shut down and try not to talk a lot, because dude, I do it fucking often on this, all right? Like at least 2 or 3 times a week, something like that. And then the thing is, it's not like it's 30-minute episodes. If you know any of the work I've done in the past week, shouts out to Wrestle Rap. They had me on there. I did that. Me and Amber, of course, did a Not So Bonus episode, Volume 1, patreon.com/RAO podcast. That was 2.5 hours, or 2 hours and 27 minutes. By the time it's out, Wiretap may be out. First Wiretap in a month. Thank God we haven't recorded in a month. I mean, obviously, life has takes its course, so we couldn't record episodes. But that's like, dude, I get tired of talking. And the thing is, it's not 30 minutes. And then outside of that, even when I'm at the crib, people want to have conversations there. It's like, I don't know what to tell y'all. I honestly don't know what to say. Like, I hate to have short conversations with people, but I'm tapped out. And I know I'm tapped out from talking because it's been that way the past couple of days. So this isn't the topic of itself. This is supposed to be the intro. If you know how to do the podcast, you got to do an intro for a couple of minutes and then get into it. But this is the conversation in itself. Like, dude, what do you do when you don't want to talk? I feel like I need to start just writing on a piece of paper. Like, what did they used to do on the Looney Tunes? Like, help me. And then the sign will pop up, and then you'll be holding the sign like, help. Let me start doing that, man. Let me just start writing stuff down. Just like, my voice is cooked. My brain is just cooked from just this week and then just talking. Like, you got to think about it outside. That's why I say podcasting is hard. Outside of just, the usual talking, I think people think you're just talking. It's like, dude, you got to be creative. And for me, I feel like I do this even better. See, that's my brain right there. That knock knock, that's my brain. Just, I feel like, I don't want to say a monkey clapping his hands because that's racial, but I feel as if my brain, from just a week of working or doing work or whatever the case may be, you get tapped out, and then you get like a spurt of energy, which is weird, or at least that happens to me, and just like, all right, let's go. So, but it's hard, man, like doing the podcast and then people want to talk. So this conversation that I'm having right now is like, what do you do when you don't want to talk? Like, I swear, it's like at a point I'm gonna just like, I'm gonna start kayfabe and saying like, yo, my vocal cords went out. I can't speak. My vocal cords went out. I just need to start just doing that. Maybe if I do that, then That'll work. Or just do like I'm really thinking about it. Like I'm just thinking about, everybody I know that just kind of like, all right, I'll record once a week, and then, or I just won't record, but every couple of months. Because I think I talked about this last episode. I wish, or maybe that's where it's going, and then that goes to the conversation I have later on that I might just bring up after this is how podcasting is now, because I look at it is what it is with Cameron and Mace and how they do episodes, and it's like, damn, is that where it's going? Or can it go that way? Like, can I just do episodes, but then they're consistent? It just, they'd be a week behind, and because sports move so fast that it's a week behind, and then yeah, it's really because more so basketball. It's always something. It's like reality TV now. It's always something going on, just like that in the background. I don't know if y'all catching that or not. Maybe the mic picks it up, but it's something going on in basketball all the time where you talk about it just because it's like TMZ, whether it be on the court, off the court, it's something I always talk about. So I think about now because basically basketball is done. There's no free agency at the moment. It's just baseball. They record all the episodes ahead of time just so they could be like, all right, we don't have to record during the summertime. Which makes it like a season, because they do a season. Like I never understood podcasting during the season, but now I understand. Damn, this is bringing up thoughts. I just don't. My mindset is just I don't know. I don't know how to slow down, and I don't know how to like function that way where I'm just like, all right, I'll put out a bunch of pre-recorded episodes and then just I guess record twice a week and then just put them out one by one. That'd be fire. I see podcasts doing that. It's like, dude, that's why I'm starting to feel like in my dinosaur way where I gotta do something every week in order for it to come out. I just need to be like my friends, like it all together. Kind of getting that way. Can't hold y'all. But then knowing me, I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm about to do it anyway. It's very hard to be me, bro. In more ways than one, but and not just no, it's hard, man. Because you want to be consistent, but then you don't want to be, I guess, the new age consistent with podcasting. But this shit is hard, man. Trust me. Do not get into it unless y'all really, really, really want to do it. Don't get into it. Like any thoughts that you have them with your friends, anything that you are entertained by, have it with your friends. But if you want to talk about it, by all means, go talk about it. Do a podcasting with it. Just expect it to take forever to start getting some motion, and then the money. That's a 40-minute segment on its own, far as getting paid for podcasting. Good luck. That's all I can say to everybody. Good luck. Really having this heart-to-heart conversation with myself, and now starting to open up my mind. So like, bro, should I just do this once a month? Knowing me, right now, I'm just, I'm living, bro. That's the best thing I can say. Or alive. I know I'm sounding depressing, but my thoughts, people. I'm not depressed at all. I don't do any of that mental stuff. It's just, I just be having thoughts. And what's the best way to convey your thoughts is through art. You feel me? I wish I can go back and kind of change some stuff, just like the Flash, but that outcome might make this outcome. And shouts out to the Flash too, by the way. That's the only time I'm really shouts out to it. Far as how they did the time structure. The time structure, how they did it, is perfect. It's like it's like Back to the Future. Like I went back and watched Back to the Future, ironically, before I started watching The Flash, and it was the same thing. Far as like how time works, if you change this one thing, it's like a change. It's like all this multiverse, but they explain time perfect. I think you change something here, it affects the future. What affects this future, and it's probably not the future that you want. And everything happens for a reason in order for your future to be its future. As we're living in the future, because every second is the future. You see how I did that? So the Flash broke it down perfect, just like Back to the Future. I like to look at time as it's extremely non-linear. What you're doing right now projects for the future of yourself and what you're doing. And maybe it's a multiverse version of you. Like I always think about that. That was great. Like he, not to spoil the movie, obviously, because that's something DC does very well. And boy, It's time. Shoot promo coming up. Stay with me. They do it very well far as the time aspect and your future self and what happens if you do this. Like he saw, the young Ezra Miller, the one with the long hair, before he was acting out Far Cry 5. He was, seeing himself, spoiler alert, I'll say that. I'll give you a couple seconds as I text somebody to get on my list a gallon of water and Eggo waffles. I'm about to say Lego waffles, Eggo waffles. So I'll give you a couple seconds to a minute. As you hear, I might have to keep talking because that damn hammer. I don't know if y'all can hear it. See, just like time. Time is linear. What if I kept talking? Then you couldn't hear me as that hammer was going off. Pause. All right, let's get into it. So before he became the priest or the cult leader of Far Cry 5, he looked like he was an innocent, sweet. What they say? He was a. I said he again. The person was innocent and sweet. Before the Far Cry movement. I'm talking about shoot. Now let's get to kayfabe style. So kayfabe style is him seeing his mom as he older. She's alive because if you know how Barry's mom go out, if you ever seen the Justice League animation, if you read the comics, the story, you know what happens. And this does bring, it's all connected again. It's all connected for him to go through this in order to become that. Hove went through that, so you ain't got to go through that. Barry went through that, so you ain't got to go through that. So you see how changing this changes that, and then in this universe, they didn't see the Michael Keaton's Batman who was getting off. Like, hey, he couldn't move when I was coming up, and I seen the movies as a kid. Some of my favorite movies ever. He couldn't move in that suit. He was moving this time. He had better squabbles than Christian Bale's Batman. And that's hilarious how I think about there's somebody on TikTok did the whole fighting style. It was actually fire when he did it, but the Christian Bale fighting style with the hands up next to the face, I don't know what type of style, how he moved, but it was actually fire how he did it. And I was like, all right, it just looked probably goofy in the suit, but how dude did it, he was getting off. But Michael Keaton's Batman was going dummy. He had all the gadgets, he had everything. So, and then again, spoiler alert. Man, fuck spoilers. This will be on. They said it's gonna be on HBO Max by September or November. That's the rumor. Between September and November. Come on, bro. This movie's gonna be on HBO Max by next month. It didn't. I haven't heard it doing very well with their numbers. Because first of all, they shot the movie 2 years ago. Like I said, I'm gonna get to DC in a minute. They shot the movie 2 years ago. They shot Aquaman 3 years ago. But that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna get to it. They shot this movie 2 years ago, and it's just now coming out. Be it because of what was going on with Buddy, and because they did so many reshoots and editing, and then it comes out. So maybe that's why it had something to do with bombing. Because more so, man, these nerds don't care about what you do, kidnapping people and all that. They don't care beating up on women because they wish they can do it. They just don't have the money and the resources to do it. Some of them, but I think it just got pushed back because it's like at this point, it's like, all right, cool. Because I was actually a little hyped about it just because of everything we seen and, the story. And then I started watching the movie, and yeah, it's not that good. Again, don't take my opinion for anything because the type of movies I watch and people try to fight me on my opinions, but I don't give a fuck. This is my eyes. It's not that good of a movie. The story is thought out for the most part. It's just the execution. The beginning scene was the bank robbery scene and him saving the babies and putting the baby in the microwave like it's a hot pocket. Like, all right, bro, I don't think you can do that yeah, you can't do that in Texas because of the laws now. They put people in microwaves, but not babies. You can't do that. So him saving the baby in short time, and then the cartoonish, and then the banter with himself back and forth. And I felt like this is how he goes through it when he's making these decisions to kidnap people and all these other crazy shit he's done in the past 2 years. And it's that the best part is literally everything. Again, just like Justice League, when Batman steps in, Snyder Cut was fired because of Aquaman. Those are the two best things about it. But the best things about this movie are Batman, and maybe that's me being biased, but to a certain degree, not. Like, even, and it seemed like Ben Affleck was like, nah, bro, y'all got me for one day. Because the beginning scene with the robbery, that couldn't be him. I feel like they ADR'd his voice, which means, they put the voiceover on it, because that didn't look like him in the mask. I don't think that was him. I think more so that was a stunt man, or that maybe they was CG, because there was a lot of bad CG. I'll get to that in a second. But it was definitely, Ben Affleck probably there one day, hey, bro, I'm going to shoot this and I'm going to be up out of here. I don't even want to do this no more. This is one of the things that drive me to drink. And then you got that, and then it's just the Michael Keaton stuff is fire. When they save Supergirl, that's fire. When they get to General Zod stuff, that's fire. Like the battles scene. You see everything that entails there. And that's when the story starts to show its true self, because you got him trying to say Supergirl over and over and over, and it's like, dog, it ain't meant to be. And him talking to his future or past self like, yo, you gotta let it go. And then him saving the mom. So the story is very well thought out. I think the story as well, just the execution of it is very cartoonish. So when I say it's not that good, it's simply because you got a story here, but then and it's probably because of the editing. I don't know. Or probably the producers more so, because they have no idea what they're doing at DC. It's just too many cooks in the kitchen, I felt like. And maybe they kept stuff out. Because the movie is supposed to be 2 hours and like 35 minutes. It's like 2:15, somewhere around that, feels like. Or maybe the version I watched, because I didn't go to the theaters and watch this movie. You're not getting me to spend my money on that. But it was listed as 235, and then I'm seeing it. I'm like, even when I saw that, I'm like, 235 for this. So I'm starting to think, because of course it'll be an extended cut, because this is what DC does. Which the 4-hour Justice League cut, and then now I feel like with the Flash, it's definitely gonna be. And I gotta see on Twitter, these fucking nerds, these marks, release the Flash cut, whatever. What? That's not gonna save the movie. That doesn't make it better just because you got DLC. It's simply just the execution of it. Like, Ezra Miller did a great job. For the most part, everybody did a great job. It's just how the story flowed, or how everything was executed on screen didn't flow with the story, because, again, the strongest part to me was Batman. Once Batman started getting into play, obviously him going in the past and trying to change that was cool, very Back to the Future-esque. But then when he meets his version of, I'm still trying to figure that out. That's the main thing too I got confused of. So it's like, wait a minute, in this version it's Michael Keaton's Batman, so you always were in this universe with this Batman. But then I feel like, shouldn't it be another Flash in that world? Like a more so 90s Flash? Like, they shouldn't have just put in like the old 90s movies Flash. They should have put that in there, the one that was on the TV show I seen when I was a kid. And then it was just like, all right, so then when he goes back to his supposed current time, then he got George Clooney's Batman, who they said it was supposed to be Michael Keaton's Batman, but then they put George Clooney's Batman in that instead of Ben Affleck, because he was like, no, I ain't coming back, bro. And then that's how that was the finish for the movie. So it's like, all right. So the story is kind of all over the place. It's all over the place. It's good, like I said. It's great, like I said. But then it's just, well, I can't even say great if I'm saying all this in hindsight. I'll just say it's good. We are in the era now where something has to be an instant classic or trash, and if you say otherwise, then you tripping. But it's always like, all right, I gotta think about it for a second. It's a good story. It just wasn't executed well, so I'm good on the movie. I don't think it was that good because I feel like if anything has to be good or great, it has to be everything composite into one that makes it well. Like when I think about Spider Verse, and I mean Across the Spider Verse, and again that's a cheat code. That's not fair because it's an animated movie, but it seems to be these animated movies are kicking the live movies ass, live action movies ass, and maybe it's because you can do more, and you can use your imagination even more on an animated movie compared to a live action. But even still, it's like, all right, you still you still gotta have the story involved. Now this director that's supposed to be that did the Flash movie, he's supposed to be the director for the Batman Brave and Bold. If you know that story, it's about Damian. From what I remember, because I haven't read the comics in a while, but it's Damian Wayne. Uh, is it Tim Drake's Robin involved too? But I know Nightwing is involved, Damian Wayne, and then Bruce Wayne, older Bruce Wayne. I got to go back and look at the story, but he's directing that, so that's coming out from DC. And again, it's Batman has to save the day again. Uh, Batman and Superman has to save the day. This the Superman legacy that James Gunn is involved in directing, writing. I think it's hope for it. I think it actually will probably do well because again, Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse are my two favorite movies this year. I think those movies are phenomenal. And that's one of the times, well, I'm wrong a lot in life, a lot. But that's one of the times where I've been wrong. And I'm like, all right, I'll stand on it because I was like, we don't need Guardians of the Galaxy 3. What is there to say? I went back and watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Movie is great. The first one, great. This one's phenomenal. So I was tripping. So it's like, you got to see things play out. Because I wasn't hyped for it. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I went in, and that's probably the thing. You just don't go in expecting a lot. Like I went in, I was like, I'm just going to watch it. Like I literally was just like, all right, I'll just watch it because why not? It's the finish. It's the go home movie for the trilogy. And again, I've talked about it. I think on here, I went in and watched it, and the movie's amazing. Like I've seen it 3 times since it came out in May, and I could watch it right now, and it still feels fresh. The movie's amazing. So that and Across the Spider-Verse are my movies of the year thus far. I like Ant-Man and the Quantum Realm. I might need to go back and rewatch it just to see if I still feel the same way. But, I liked it when it first came out. And those are basically Marvel projects. Yeah, Marvel just, dominate. The DC conversation against Marvel has been going on for 10 plus years. It started with Man of Steel when they decided they wanted to put their ring or put their hat in this whole multiverse ring. And they got their ass kicked fast. Because again, you came out with Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, which I like. Like Man of Steel, it looks good to me. But to this day, it's like every time I watch it, I kind of get tired. But it had a great story. Zack Snyder did a great with the story. The set designs was great. It just I don't know. It was just a little too slow. And Superman is just a slow character. That's why it's going to be interesting how James Gunn pulls this off as far as legacy. Like the casting for it so far has been, great as far as them looking for somebody that's known but unknown. So they really looking for somebody that can do verse both Clark Kent and Superman. That in itself is telling me that the story is going to be great. And again, somebody said if he got us to care about a raccoon, he can get us to care about Superman. So that's why I'm very hopeful for it. But ever since they did their version of the multiverse from Batman and Superman, it's like, all right, I understand why they would do that, but They shouldn't have just did a Batman movie and then get them together that how, because that's going to be one of the biggest travesties ever. Is we're never going to get that Batman movie with Batfleck where he goes against Deathstroke and others. They could have did it like Arkham Asylum ish. That would have been phenomenal. Because to me, that's my favorite Batman thus far. And again, because Batman and Bold, they got to recast for like the 8th time. So, and then they have the Batman as well. So the Batman is running up to be the best one, even over Christian Bale's by far. I think that Batfleck is just different. That movie would have been fire. But we'll see exactly what happens with the Batman too. But hey, Robert Pattinson right there. So that's separate. So you got two Batman movies. Again, that's keep saving DC's ass. And then everything else fill in the blanks. Because now they're talking about doing a Swamp Thing movie. Everything else that they're doing, it's like, dude, y'all digging in the crates now. And everything don't need to be heard. We don't need it. No disrespect. We don't need to run DMC remix. All right. And that's what we get into right now. They scraping the bowl. Like the Swamp Thing movie, I think it works. If you make a horror style. Definitely that'll work. Everything else is like, all right. So, of course, the Joker 2 is coming out next year. If I'm not mistaken, next year or this year. I forgot. I don't care. I hate it the first one. I won't be watching the second one. Maybe. But, that's the incels Ali. But dude, it's just they shot themselves in the foot. You had so many producers. You had the president messed it up. You're not putting movies out fast enough. And then again, what I talked about with Aquaman, they shot that like 3 years ago, and I swore that was supposed to come out 2021, December 21st, 2021. I swear it's supposed to come out, and I swear it was supposed to come out last December 21st, 2022. Now they're coming out. Now they're saying it's coming out this year. And they're kind of saying, we're not sure. Dude, if y'all don't put that shit on HBO Max and call it a day, y'all already buried the Batgirl movie. That would have been great. That story sounded phenomenal. It looked good. Like, I never heard of that ever in my life. Ever. And maybe I should look it up, but I've never heard of a movie being made, fully done. Even Brendan Fraser confirmed that on Howard Stern's show. It was made. It was done. Edited, done. And they just said, no, we're going to cancel it. I've never heard no shit like that before. Talking about because of financial woes. You fucking Warner Brothers, yo. And that's what we're seeing right now with this writer's strike that's been going on for almost 2 months, if not 2 months. It's like, y'all got the money. Like, what we talking about? Like, if you just look at Disney alone could pay the writers and still be all right. Like, dude, I'm not one to go off about capitalism just because it's like, yo, we all need money. I'm a capitalist I'm like, even though I don't have it, I'm a capitalist. All right? Like, dude, I know the world is just in a financial shithole, especially America. Get me out this country. Anybody that's listening in another country, if you're in another country, get me out of here. I don't give a fuck if it's like, I don't even know, Vietnam. Get me to Vietnam. Get me the fuck out this country. I hate this country. But it's the fact of, yes, everybody's going through it financially. It's inflation. But the studios got it. And again, Disney alone could pay every single writer and still have billions. Despite the fact that it's inflation right now. Dude, you know how many people go to Disneyland a day? And I'm just talking about California. I said Disneyland, not Disney World. Disney World in Florida. Hell, people were trying to go during the pandemic. I remember being in Florida and reading that they were like, no, we're trying to get this open ASAP. Like, they shut down for like, I think maybe a month or two. They were trying to get that open ASAP. Because that's part of the bread and butter of Florida's economy. Especially Orlando. That is the economy in Orlando. It's like, dude, I don't understand how. Yeah, so Disney has it and then some. It's just, you have, and then it's been a lot of writers outside picketing at Warner Brothers. I'm like, what have y'all been writing? And there's no disrespect to the writers because the producers, And the creative directors and all these people involved with it, they probably give you no direction on what you need to really write. Obviously, you got to have a script before you actually shoot something, but you still got the producers telling you what we need. So it's like, what are we doing? And it's like me not to go in the back. I'm gonna throw a rock at this damn bird. Peter, fuck them, fuck these birds. Uh, they go the crows. If it was an owl, then you could put the quarter owls. No, it's just when with DC, it's like, what are you doing? You have all these like Wonder Woman 84. Then I feel like they try to put too much dip on the chip, or they try to be too unique, and it doesn't work because these characters, yes, they're known, but for the most part, they're a little too hardcore for the average comic book person or just anybody in general. The beautiful thing about Disney acquiring Marvel is like, yeah, you don't really know these characters. You probably seen them before, but for kids, they pop out. It's a look. That's why they cast certain actors to look a certain way, and they cast directors to shoot it a certain way. The cinematographer. So I'm going real nerdy, but it's a method to the madness, and it worked out well. With DC, it's just too much of let's do this, let's do that, and it's like, people don't really know these characters, and what's the reason for it? Just kind of make them for the hardcore fan, and then had a hardcore fan try to get people involved. So I think their first mistake was Batman versus Superman, because you're trying to make this Justice League movie, and it's like, well, the way you're doing it is really no introduction to these characters. Like even Marvel did introductions to their characters. You can't do that. You got to bring an introduction in. So the first Aquaman, which I got to go back and watch, it's been years. It's been, I think that came out like 2018, 19. And then this one was shot like 2020. I swear it was 2020. No later than the summer of 2021. Still, that's 2 years of a movie that doesn't have a firm release date. Put it out. HBO Max. You're not going to make no money off of it. It's too late for that. I don't even think the first one made a lot of money on it. It didn't make a lot of money. So this one definitely won't make a lot of money because people keep forgetting. Like I have to remember at least once a week. And shouts out to Van, my guy, our guy, Van at Black Variant. At least once a month, I'll hit him up. And there goes the issue too. I got to think about your movie once a month. I'll hit him up and be like, yo, Aquaman 2 is probably a money laundering scheme. It has to be. It gotta be a money front because it's like, dude, I don't even know this. We don't know the story. We ain't seen no trailer. They just don't say nothing about it. Nobody else says anything about it. Jason Momoa don't say anything about it. They probably forgot that they shot that movie. Just put it out. Same thing with Batgirl. They could just put it on Max. Talking about we lost money. You're not, bro, dude, you're a multi-billion-dollar company. I think Time Warner owns Warner Brothers too. That's another thing. I think it's owned under media, Turner Media. Not losing nobody. I think it definitely has to be because TBS, TNT, yeah, not losing no money. Multi-billion-dollar companies, but I guess that's how the wealthy stay wealthy. I don't know. I feel like, dude, and maybe that's why I'm not wealthy. I don't know if I ever be wealthy because of my mindset is of sharing, and that's not to put myself over. I just don't understand because there's been times where I ain't had but nothing, and I still gave up something. Again, it's not to put myself over. I just don't understand the concept of being greedy. I don't understand the concept of being greedy. And this is coming from somebody also that tries to stay out the way. I try to stay out the way. Somebody's doing something, they busy. I'll leave them alone. Because I want to be left alone for the most part. Not to sound like emo makes. I'm just saying. It just I don't get it when it comes to DC. Too many hands in the kitchen. Or too many pots. Whatever the saying is. Too many cooks. There we go. Pots, hands, whoop, swag. Still got it. It's the same thing with the music business. I felt like, and I said this in 2020, probably before that, but more so 2020, when the artists start becoming a brand more so than what product they create, that's when it's like, all right, yeah, it's gonna be hard for artists to put out music because you're getting paid just for your brand and personality and songs to come out. Like songs are the new albums. Like I keep trying to tell people, and for the most part, I see the people around my age, if not older, in the past year saying, "Okay, we know what's going on with the music business now." For the most part, have an idea of what's going on. The songs are the album. That's plain and simple. Like there is no need for the albums now because for the most part, when you listen to an album, you just want to put songs on a playlist to begin with. I think that this, I think the leniency that SZA has is because it took years, and it's an R&B album too. With rap, it's just like rap, hip hop is for sure dead. Except for the women. The women are holding it up together. The women are the best thing that's going on. They, for the most part, some of them have their own unique style. They talk about whatever they want to talk about, and that's fine. And the women listening to it, that's fine. Because the women have the most money, they have the most power as it relates to the entertainment business. Because you want to see something pretty all the time. Men, women, they all want to see something pretty. You want to see ass shaking, you want to see tits. That's just what it is. That's what the women doing. And you got some that do lyrical miracle stuff for the most part, like Doja Cat. But even then, she's holding. You know, she has some sex appeal. She definitely sexy as hell to me. I won't get too deep. You know, I want to get deep, but you know, too dark too. Need to lighten up. But with the music business, and people are like, "Damn, there's no albums coming out. There's really no songs coming out." But for the most part, there's really no albums coming out. Everything is a rollout. Everybody got to do this mysterious shit. Like the Gunna album came out. I listened to a little bit of it. It was alright. Then it seems like Young Thug is teasing a song or album. It's just everything is a rollout. Even with podcasting, going back to what I was talking about earlier, it's a rollout. People got to tease a podcast episode, or we got this guest, or I got to highlight this. It's like, dude, just put it out, man. Just put it out. That's all you got to do. I don't understand the significance, and maybe it's just because I go by the currency, you know, model of everything, because that's the only rapper in the past 3 years that's been working. Besides the UK rappers, like I love UK drill. That's my favorite genre out right now, like UK rap. That in Detroit, but for sure UK. But they do the same thing, far as the currency model and the old model. Just put out a song, put out another song. Okay, the album drops. They do it well. It's the old school way of you doing it, and that's the way it should be. Whereas these other artists, it's like, all right, I gotta do some mysterious shit, or you know, surprise drop. And I understand why they would do that. It's simply based on the fact that you know people's attention span is short, and then they don't care about your music. They care about your antics. Like the Gun album, people solely listen to that because they want to see what he was gonna say. And I mean, you do want to listen to his music, and I like Gun, so you know people just want to listen to it for that. But then they also want to listen to it just based on what happened. And then the Young Thug thing is going on, and people think it's because he gonna talk about Gunna being a quote unquote rat and all this stupid shit. It's like, dude, this is fucking pro wrestling. Like the rap game is really pro wrestling. The podcast game is too, but the podcast game is the new rap game. Nobody's getting paid, and it's all these antics and back and forth. Again, if y'all thinking about getting into in the entertainment business, hey, think about it. Think twice. Think over, man. It's that serious. So, and I don't want to deter anybody away from their dreams, but you just got to be a realist. Unless you really, really love doing this, be a realist. So that's it. The beautiful thing about it though, because with me and new music, I don't really care, dude. Like I listen to more podcasts than music, and then when I do listen to music, like lately, I've been digging in the crates. Like I've been listening to like, especially because of workouts, I've been listening to like a lot of '80s like action movie soundtracks. That's what I've been listening to, like Kenny Loggins and stuff like that. I've been going back and listening to '80s like rock. Man. I love it. Otherwise than that, it would be jazz. But for the most part, like a little bit of R&B here and there. That's all I really listen to. If it's rap, then it's like UK rap. Tells y'all everything about my brain and how I think. It's weird. But it's just I don't care. Like I listened to the Killer Mike new album. I didn't like it. The Gun album, I gotta really sit down and listen to it. But for the most part, it's just like, dude, no, I don't be in the rap mood. All right, I don't live a young life, far as like I'm partying, going up, or whatever they talk about. I ain't fucking no bitches. I ain't spending money. I'm not doing none of that. I live a very boring life. So I gotta listen to music because I listen to music not for how it sounds. It's just I listen to music depending on how I feel at that moment and what I feel like listening to. Like I'll literally turn on something and be like, all right, this is the type of mood I'm in right now. This is the mindset I want to be in because it's a mindset thing. I can't listen to rap all day. Like even I've said this a couple years ago before the pandemic. I just can't listen to rap all day. Like my mindset will not let me just listen to rap all day. Like I love like old '90s again, digging in crates type music, like New York type music. I love that. I can't listen to it all day. At night I can probably, but I listen to what I feel at that moment. Not because I have to listen to it, because I'm not the music podcaster. I'm not the music guy. I could break down music. I could break down certain, stylistics of music, but that's not my whole thing. So there's other podcasts for that. But otherwise than that, man, I think that's it. Y'all got to hear me rave a little bit in the beginning. Starting to stumble on my words now because I need some water and some nourishments because I feel malnourished. So I got to do that. Again, thank you for being here. New part in the Banks. I don't even know what number this is. Eventually, I'm going to start keeping up with the numbers, but understand. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Davis, appreciate you for being here. Even though he in La La Land, a lot of people be in La La Land. I want to be in La La Land, damn it. But that's still my guy, so it don't matter. Podcast or not, that's still my guy. Love him. And anybody that's listening, I love you too. Hope to hear from you soon. Take it easy.